Hello. Trying out some new music. This is Hyper Potions. They have a whole Twitch safe playlist. I don't know if that's YouTube safe. We'll see. I guess eventually, because I'm not nearly as big to find out anytime soon. But yeah, it's been a couple of days for sure. Last time I streamed, we were working on our config manager, and we pretty much got up to the point where we have to create links, symlinks, and not between the mapping files. We did the mapping files last time. So off stream, I did a bit of research, and it's not that hard. There's two functions, symlink and unlink, that you can call, and you also can pass it if it's a folder or not. So you don't even have to like parse that folder. You can just create a symlink for that folder too. So instead of doing that today, because I'll be like 5 minutes. Maybe if we really stretch it out, turn our mapping into a parsable format and doing all that, we could probably get to a point where we are like getting to the modules and plugins, and I don't have an idea to do that yet. I don't know exactly how I want to do it. If I want to do an isolated Python module, or make a Lua interpreter and pass in the Python stuff. I'm not sure. So instead, we're going to expand a little bit on the CLI. Hopping over to our little terminal here. Hello. As you can see, I created a new directory for us. So I separated out the CLI portion because I realized that's basically the essence of our project. And nope. Control B, it's that. Alright. So if we look at our directory here, we have our test directory, so we can look at that. We have our CLI py that is directly copied from our project that we've been working on recently. And so what's going to happen is that this is its own separate repo, and we're going to use pip to bring this module, this package, as our CLI package, and that way we can just extend this and port this into other projects that we have. Probably just extend this package and not have to worry about balancing CLI, and it just makes it more modular and manageable. And if you want to use the CLI too, you can use it. It's not great by any means. So, I mean, like, look, you got your actions, your args, has noisy level. We're gonna end up refactoring all of this right here. The logging and all that into a separate command that you can call before format command. So, yeah. And the logging I am still gonna keep in there. I think it's a good idea to have, different types of logging, be able to have it user controlled. We are going to have to work on, which I'm excited about, is our standard in and standard out reader. I don't think it's a good idea to have that passed in as like, I don't think it's a good idea to use print as your standard out. So instead, we're going to create a read write situation. And then, you know, we have our execute actions and all that. I'm going to move most of this the help of a YAML file. This is going to be our... Oh. Well, fun. We lost a little connection there. All right, so going back a couple steps just in case you guys didn't catch it. We have this YAML file. What we're going to end up doing is when we have this build py, and we're going to use pip to have it so that you can run a command, which will take your YAML file, generate that as a man file, and that will like generate your man file, but it also will build your Python, the file which you specify into a binary which can be executed by the system. And that, I just want to make this all easy to do, so if I ever want to go make my own CLI command again or CLI tooling again, I am able to, and we're not just kind of building on top of this config manager, right? Because I just want it to be narrowed down to just the config management between systems and not get too out of control. It's been very hot here, so I got some ice cream. It's been around 100 degrees in here in Phoenix, and it's gonna get a lot crazier. But yeah. So I guess the first thing we can do is, you know, start building this stuff out. Well, let's see. What was I gonna look up? I guess we can start organizing this outside just these files. Oh. Good. We should probably. We should probably move this into a. I didn't expect that to work. What should we call this? What is this? We're just called Command Maker. Okay, we'll copy CLI into Command Maker, and we'll copy build. Oh, excuse me. So we have that. CD into command maker. Touch. Right. So I end up naming the subcommand actions in our file. I'm just going to name them subcommands. So we'll create a sub.py. 1 second. I had an itchy nose. All right, so we'll have a sub thing, sub.py that'll be our sub actions. We'll have our command.py, which will just be our execute commands and formatting. We're gonna need an init. Yeah, for help. We'll end up putting that in its own file. And then I think it would be a good idea to isolate just have our IO. Yeah, I think that's about right. So if we go back to here, we should be able to. Oh, we're gonna have to also delete some stuff. Oh, we're gonna. I guess that'll be in help. We should probably just name it doc then. All right, so we have doc.py. Let's move command.py to just core.py. That's just what it is, right? And then we can go out, move -f, CLI, and build. Yeah, okay. Cool. So now that we have that, we're gonna So I'm gonna want to make a utils file just so we have a place to put like ranged arguments and stuff like that and not have to worry about it. So yeah, how would I do that? Um, anyways. So let's meter help. Logging. Oh yeah. Let's I get some logging in there too. Yeah. All right. And then I want to look. So one thing I want to do is like a command calls another function if a certain flag is provided, or like it's basically a overload, but for the command line. So we have actions here, and I guess we could just call it overload. All right, what files do we have? All right, I think that's a good place to start organizing everything now. Also, just kind of we're getting everything situated. Both this week is just gonna be it's a weird week. I have plans on Thursday that was kind of like decided for me. Have a party to get to. So I'll be going to that. So I will be streaming then, but it's gonna be a little later. So it's gonna be like probably like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Basically, I was late today too because I got a lot of stuff to handle. Work went over. So yeah, but I will be still streaming that day. Do not worry. All right. We'll yank that. Oh. Yeah. I guess so. That would work. All right. So go to sub, paste that there. Bye. that. Paste that. Alright, so and then back to CLI. Let's grab the logging. Think that. Paste that. Wait. Did we ever figure out? Current. Okay, so you provide a dot in front of it. Okay. Alright, yeah. I figured it was something like that. Alright, what were you doing? Back to CLI. And then this is the rest of it. So we'll ink that. 4. Paste that. And that should be everything. Logging reader, which we're just gonna rewrite anyways. So a lot of these we're just gonna rewrite. We're going to have to reformat actions first. Oh, blown out. Oh, because of this thing right here. Okay. Alright, and then I think I can remove this CLI. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so let's go to the break. And we're gonna have to delete a lot of this actually, because we're getting rid of this. Yeah. So we simplified our data structure, which is nice because it's now just the function, right? Which no. We are going to want a dictionary. And then so we have a list of the different conditions, right? And we'll call this a hijacks. Oh wait, no, we don't need a list. Yeah, we need a list. And this will be a dictionary. That way, and we don't want actions anymore. Subcommand. Alright, I missed one. So you call this sub command command sub command cool. So now we have this overload, which is a subcommand name. And our and provide a string. You don't need site hijacks. run in place and should run in place if the flag is defined. And right, and I used an O instead of A. Declare orator. Declarator. Declare. Alright, basically this just does we do it. Decorator, because you're decorating something. This should be a flagging. And we want to do an if. So if the function hasn't been defined yet, I should probably throw an error. We do errors. It's been a hot second. Yeah. Need those two anymore? It's raise? Yeah. Yep. You need to. I just wanted to make sure that. Not be overloaded. Not being right. So basically, and we can reading a readyify this. All right, subcommand help cannot be overloaded due to the subcommand not being declared before the function overload has been declared. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, dang. My shirt. All right. Let's see. Okay, so oh, I should probably that could probably be an issue. I guess defined is the better word. Define. Has been defined. All right. And we should probably do this. This also acts as a pass, so that helps out a lot. This is an exception. Exception. And don't forget not muted. All right. Now let's get that if in there. If sub and name in the muffin. All right, so find and this should be enough string. Okay. And this should be a multi-line string. And that makes me realize I did this wrong. I meant to do that. It's multi-line. I like to break it off in its own line. All right. All right. So that's how we define subcommands and overloads. All right. Glad to have that one already done. All right. Insert modes. Go. I guess I'm gonna have to redo. Right. This probably actually should be one thing. This should probably be in most of it in our utils as a dynamic callback function. Probably. So let's grab just gonna grab this. Sub is def so execute subcommand with so we want to provide it an array, like our different stuff that we want to have inside our function, right? What do you call them? Um, well, first things first are and I'm just gonna call them helpers because they help. Right. So if in the this anymore, we're gonna raise and we're gonna pass in our helpers. It should be a triple F I want to rename this to man name. Subcommand name. Find please check if I think that's about correct, because if they're calling it so it does run actions, which I can probably do a better way to do them with this instead of trying to call actions and dealing with all that fun stuff. But let's do that, and we'll go to utils. All right, so now we have a handle dynamic callback function, which Maybe we also need star quarks too. No. Can we get the name of the variable? The argument passed in with star args? Effects, get frame. So you're basically going back a stack and be like, yo, what did they provide? Cool. That's important. IO, it would be under core. This, and then I don't want to do that yet. Deleting something will override my copy. So we'll do that. Okay. Oh, wait. Yeah, we'll do it here. Now let's go back to that function. That's 4. Now we can get rid of it. Okay, we can probably rename this now from core to command. that as name. And all right, I'm fine with leaving it as core for now. I wanted to rebuild that whole system anyways, right? So might as well. Be right back, guys. We are currently at an hour and about no. So basically what we're doing here is we're organizing everything, you know. So we have our subcommand system with our overloads and execution, and from we can actually tools import I need that function name. Handle dynamic callback. So basically we are creating a function that will take in a callback with an array of like arguments and call them so that I'm not bound to the function. Like, does it have it? Does this have it? I don't know. Honestly, I should probably be doing that up on the subcommands area right here. And the overload command. Because if they want like just the arguments of the function, I want to pass them that, right? But if they want just logging, I want to just pass in that without too much of a hassle. So I think a better solution is to parse it out. We'll still have the handle dynamic callback, but we should probably parse it out a bit better. Anyways, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go to the restroom real quick. Okay. Ooh. Probably wanna. There you go. I'm standing up right now, so that's what you're getting. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So, okay, so we're gonna want to do this instead of passing in helpers. Helpers is, we're just gonna do that, which is a map of helpers. And instead we're gonna do oh wait, we should probably do this instead. And so whenever you're just executing subcommand, you pass in subcommand name. It's their command name that they end up calling. And yeah. Oh, probably. That's probably better, just in case I can need the arguments. Oh, alright. We'll do this, that way you can override all the helpers that I have provided with your own. And it just makes things easier for me. It froze. If Alright, so now we can deal with that later. So the idea I have is that instead of trying to figure out what helpers they want in the subcommand at point of execution, we try to figure that out at the point of definition. Basically meaning that in our overload and subcommand functions, we get the parameters that they specify, the names of those. We lowercase them all, so it doesn't have to be typed safe. And I guess type safety is nah. And we get remove all the underscores. That's what I'm trying to get. So we try to make it as type neutral as possible, so it can fit anyone's naming scheme as long as it has the array of characters that we need. That will then inject it into that variable. Otherwise, ignore it. Actually, this kind of makes me think if I if it's better just to wrap the function and just call it that way. Just deal with it beforehand. Anyways, we'll do this so you can add stuff to the helper map too. Well, okay, let's think about this. What's gonna go in the helper map? Your logging, your IO arguments. I can see if we want to do some like terminal manipulation, we'd want that information in there. I guess, yeah, if you wanted to do that, a TUI later on, that could be a good way to put that in there. Yeah, okay, I guess so. Okay, so let's just and we're just gonna overwrite it. So basically, this all that does is that's it there. And oh, excuse me, it's been a tiring day. I really am having a lot of fun with this. So we probably move help handle dynamic callback into this function, because I don't see anywhere else where it'd be used. Oh. Parameters. Alright, so we're gonna exit that. Writing mode. I'm gonna go to utils. Control B. Yeah. I want to copy this. So what I'm trying to figure out is what data do I get from calling this function? Because I do not remember. I thought I imported it. I guess import how do I import something? When I do this online. Okay, yeah, I can do that. We'll just call it callback. And nope. Um. Then I need to print. All right, so the first one is your args, so we get the args.length. Okay. So there's no args, there's no quarks. Okay, so if I did oh, and then it pops up as the defaults over here, which I don't care for. And then I do that. and args only defaults. And then if I say start E, then star D or G, those pop up somewhere else. Yeah, so E var args. Alright, okay. So basically ignore those. So we just need this first one then. Okay. Well, all right. I don't need it anymore. So we're just gonna yank this. Yank. Go back to sub. That. Third. And that is a list that's in order too, which is nice. So actually we just need to return that. And let's get rid of that utility on. And we'll call this handle callback. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It just handles a callback call and provides it's specified but it's specified. All right. So if I then do that, don't want a def callback. I just want to call back. All right, so so you have to still provide those values. Makes me think I want to do this by length, but that's annoying. Alright, so I shouldn't print out 2, not 3, right? I do. I was hoping. So you have to pretty much do all non-positional, otherwise. And then we can just do b equals that, right? And I don't want to... Because I don't know what function it is, so I could probably... And it can be even a help function too. I wouldn't know. So this is gotta go. This also saves on data too, or memory. They're not providing. Brands. You're not providing the push it down so I can emote more. Yeah, so this helps out too with just memory, because you're not adding all the arguments of it on top. It's like you're doubling that memory essentially for every overload and subcommand that we have. So instead of copying the information, just kind of you inspect it on when the call gets called. And in this case, if we don't have that helper within our map, we're just gonna say none, or yeah, just none. I think that'll be the best way. Otherwise, it's gonna get kind of crazy. How am I going to spread this arguments into this too? Alright, that's another one. Oh, I guess prefixing the dictionary with or the people with asterisk. Huh. All right. We'll just do that, and if in helpers of callback dot in it's helpers. Yeah. Now I get that that's more we're more looking into the formatted param. At least that said. I don't think it. And then we'll format this later. So basically what we're doing is you want to ink that BW. Paste that. All right. So basically what we're doing is we're looking through the arguments and we're creating another array of arguments to be passed through, which has all our helpers in it. And if that helper, what they specified isn't within the array, we're just going to put in none. So throwing an error. We could probably throw an error. I think that might be a better use. You know, give them, hey, this isn't a thing that we have. I think this is going to be a little difficult to handle. And this allows us to add helpers throughout our thing before we execute the command too, since we're not doing it on the declaration, which happens during compilation time. Quote unquote. Because every time a file is imported, it first compiles it into a easier to read format, and then it's like called whenever it is needs to do, right? So that's why you kind of get those error, like syntax errors first, then the like runtime errors. So Python does technically have a compilation time or compilation step. So this allows us to get around that and not have to worry about having this error happen then. I'm just gonna put none for now. And we want to replace every underscore with nothing, and I think it's just lower. Yeah, it's just .2 Cool. So basically, we replace under all the underscores with nothing and lower it. So that will help out a lot. Gives a little bit more freedom. We handle callbacks, we overload it, and this is during execution. When we handle it. Alright. Then we just do handle callback. Command name or command or hold on. So we want to get and then so we do subcommands, command name. We just do subcommand, and it's not callback, it's root. Root. All right, so that should execute the command. And we still have to do the overloads if they have this X flag, whatever. But first we want to do add helper command. Okay. Yeah. So let's go back to our sub, save that. So if they ever specify args, they're always going to get the args variable. So that's good. Otherwise, it's none. And if there's no args, they're still going to get the dictionary. Now thinking about it. And we can just also do argument and then or arguments. Just because I know I like verbose variables, so it makes sense that other people would too. Yeah, I think that's good. Remember, like, I'm alright with hijacking the parameters of this function because I don't return this function. And like once you add the sub command decorator or the overload decorator, it's now my function. You lose you lose control of that function just flat out. So I don't really mind hijacking it in this way. One thing I can see that can be an issue is, so we have flags, right? And we're just kind of checking if, like, hey, this flag's been in the hijacked area, right? Or the overload. The issue is that if they provide two of the flags, which is possible, right? It's not a reach of, like, it's not a huge reach if they didn't. Do we execute it twice? Do we execute whatever we had last? So I think our overload, we need to work on a bit more. Specify, like, it needs to specify a value to. There's more to work on there. for sure, but we have that data, so it's not anything to worry about. Like, it's not a huge implementation change for that, and I'm not really too much in like panic to get that implemented. I still think maybe it does, since I control the function, to add that exception. Helper. Right. Since helpers are so dynamic, I'm not too sure. So, one case that if they don't have it, right, so if they're providing a parameter that we do not use at all in the helper, could be good to throw it just because they might have misspelled it or whatever, right? I know I would do that. I would want an error for that. But if in the way we've implemented helpers, they're not static at all. There is some fluctuation to how that, like, you can dynamically add and override stuff in the helpers map. So in that case, I could understand why you want more flexibility with it. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is something I'd have to. I want to implement it as an error, and I'll think about it a bit more. This should be a multi-line string. And it should be a full format string. What? Oh. Oops. Parameter. In the case, doesn't exist as so it doesn't exist as a helper, or in this subcommand. Parameter map. Alright, I think that's good. So basically it's like, hey, this does not exist within that parameter map. Don't add it. Otherwise it does. And in this case, I think it actually might be good to gate it. So instead of, we'll do the and that way we just delete that. We do not in. There you go. Okay, if the formatted params are not in this helper, means we just lowercase everything and remove the underscores. Not a big deal. So if those formatted params aren't in the map, throw the error, otherwise just add it. We know it's in there, right? So just add it in there. That works out well. Yeah, all right. Lovely. All right, well. Where we're at, full implementation of overloads require edge cases. Yes, so. Okay, Alright, so in this case, we want to implement the overload check. I think we're at a good place. So we'll add everything. Git, commit, start. Cool. So my mouse. Alright, so let's gonna just call it another 2-hour stream and I would not call it a day. But pause when I say that. So when next time I'm going to do a bit more research and diving into what we need to do. What I want to do is create a list like I did with our initial project, but we're technically working towards still now. Just we got distracted. So what I'm going to do is create a list. Pretty busy this week, so I'm not going to be able to do much. Next time pretty much guaranteed that next time we'll probably just work on getting the docs working, looking out how to make a man file, and logging. One thing that could do some work is our core, the formatting commands. We have this whole list of like, if the argument starts with this flag, if the argument starts with this flag. I think that refactor will come along with our overloads refactor, because those also deal with flags, right? So, I'll either put that as its own decorator, or let's see. Might just make it its function, a function that you can execute and call it a day from there, right? Because from what I'm looking at here, it's just if it starts with that flag name, and we can just make that in the format, then do some actions. Otherwise, and you can get a value. So it'd probably end up being a decorator where you're just expecting and the same way we've implemented now, actually, where you're expecting the key value. Honestly, that could just be a function. I think it'll look nicer with the decorator. But then we have too many decorators as is. I really want to use those as our core functionalities, so basically just the subcommands. In any case, I think that breaking the chunks into its own respectable place, like we've been doing this stream, is a good start, and we'll just keep on working towards that. Since we broke this off, we now not only need to do the standard in streaming, but we also need to do the standard out. And yeah, so we'll end up doing that. I don't think that there's anything else we need to do, and if there is, I'll let you guys know next time. But yeah, that's it. So thank you for joining. Hope you guys have a good night or day, wherever you guys are. So yeah, have a good one. Bye bye.